Is the reign of the Titans finally over? What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today I'm going to be taking a deep dive into the 2023 Tennessee Titans. Now, if you guys are new to this series, feel free to stick around. Would love for you guys to stay around, especially if you're new to the show, because the offseason is a pain. I know these videos don't get very much traction, but I like doing them for y'all because it also gets to teach me about the team. It also gets to teach y'all about the team, and it makes those mock drafts that I'm going to be doing soon that much better and that much more informative. So let's get right into this. We're going to break down the depth chart as well as the records predictions. So starting off with the offense, going from skill position to line and then line to skill position for the defense. Starting out with the quarterback, we got Ryan Tannehill / Levis / Malik Willis. It's a full group of dudes. And, I think Ryan Tannehill is going to start this year. I think he's going to play the most this year. But you do have some competition in the building. And, I think that there certainly is a place where Will Levis can improve. I think there's a world where he could potentially start. I think that Malik Willis has made extreme strides. So it is kind of a big issue at the moment, but I don't think it will be in the long run. So stay true, stay positive, and I think that you guys will end up being able to come out of this even better than you are right now. But I think Ryan Tannehill is a perfect bridge quarterback. He's been able to be extremely efficient in the system that you run. And especially when Derrick Henry's healthy, there's a lot of stuff that can go really, really well. You guys started falling off a little bit last year because of the fact that, Ryan Tannehill got hurt and Malik wasn't ready. The offense wasn't built for him. And I think that he's getting better and better and better. So excited about that. You have two really good backups at quarterback, and not many teams can say they have two potential starters down the line in their career sitting behind their number one starter. But of course, Derrick Henry, he's an absolute monster. Tyjae Spears was another selection y'all made, and I think he could end up being the steal running back of the class and not named Deuce Vaughn. So very excited for that because he's going to be a very good complement. I'm very excited to see if he's able to take that step up. Wide receiver wise, starting out with the left, you got Treylon Burks' first round selection from last year. He obviously is supposed to be that A.J. Brown type, and he had some very good games in there. He was one of my favorite receivers last year, and I think he could definitely continue developing into a star wide receiver. There are rumors of DeAndre Hopkins coming in, and I think there is an offer on the table. And if that's going to happen, I absolutely think you can add a win, maybe two with him. But you do have Nick Westbrook-Akine, who actually had some pretty good games last year. One of those more underrated players for sure. Kyle Phillips, and very, very talented slot receiver. Overall, you guys have some pretty solid wide receivers, but similar to what I just talked about in my last video with the Giants, I don't feel like it has enough oomph to it, enough star power. But I do think you have what it takes to have that balance. You have an X-build wide receiver with Burks. You have somebody who could be a really good number two in Nick Westbrook-Akine. Although I'd probably prefer him to be backup in that role, he definitely is a solid complement there. And then Kyle Phillips is a very good slot receiver. You have guys for sure. So I do like that quite a bit. Now looking at the tight end group, Chig Okonkwo, he popped off last year. Very excited to have him on my dynasty team from last year. I fully believed in the guy, and it's good to see that starting to pay off. He's a very fun, very athletic prospect there. And I like Jelani Woods better, but Chig was, I believe, taken way after him. So it's definitely about the same bang for your buck. So I definitely like that a lot. Josh Wiley is tight end 3 on your depth chart according to Our Lads. It's not my depth chart; it's Our Lads' projected depth chart right now. But, Josh Wiley was one of my favorite tight ends since he started playing in college there, especially at that Georgia game that they played in. That guy's an absolute beast. I think he could end up actually taking over for Chig potentially, just because I think he's that good of a player. Now, looking at the offensive line, you brought in Andre Dillard, great acquisition at left tackle. He is a former first-round pick. He was benched for a guy who got paid a very good, very large deal at left tackle in Jordan Mailata. It kind of sucks that he couldn't, stay healthy enough or competitive enough to be able to overtake Jordan Mailata, but he has all the talent in the world, and you definitely are taking a very good flyer on him. Does that mean he'll produce? No, but it means that you're at least trying to get somebody and trying to get someone who has the talent at a lower cost, and I do like that a lot. Pierce Gronsky, your first round selection, I grade that as an A+. Very excited to see him listed as a guard as well. I think he could end up holding up a tackle, but I want him to get comfortable with NFL speed at guard, especially for a guy like Tannehill who has been dealing with injuries recently. Definitely good to have someone like that. You got Aaron Brewer right there. I mean, Aaron Brewer and why? Oh, I did not change the accolades, so I already know that y'all are going to be coming out my throat for that one. Uh, I'll talk about that in a second. That one is that's a mess up on my part. I think the center and right guard and Brunskill are easily the worst two pieces on this team. Right wide receiver also, but then you got Nicholas Petit-Frere, who I think is a pretty solid guy. I had a second to third round grade on him last year. I'm gonna rewrite my accolades because that is totally on me. Forgot to do that one. But the best unit is probably going to be that left guard, running back, and left wide receiver. I think that's going to be the nice trio right there. And the worst unit is going to be that center guard and right wide receiver hybrid. So I do think Peter Skoronski will end up being the most impactful rookie. Could end up being Josh Wiley if he ends up getting more reps. But I do think Malik Willis might be the guy to start. So keep an eye on him. But overall, I think I would give this offense probably that B-. I don't think I'd change that part. Next, we have the defense. I did have an issue in terms of depth. I could not find 5 dudes who I'm extremely excited about, so I'll just preface it with that. Obviously, we have one of the best defensive interiors in the NFL, had a monster contract in Jeffrey Simmons. His talent is unbelievable. Fell in the draft because I believe an ACL tear they're at Mississippi State. They know what they're doing. And then you got Tyler Tart, and I think that's okay. Yeah, I don't think there's anything bad with that. Nico Autry is a super solid veteran. Then you got Arden Key, a free agency acquisition, and Harold Landry. You have some good players. Like, I do believe that you have some really solid players in that line. I don't think there's anybody stand out besides Simmons and Landry, but you do have no tomato cans there, and I like seeing that a lot. Azeez Al-Shaair, I think that's probably going to be the weak point. I know a lot of people do like him, but I'm not fully sold yet. Monty Rice, I do think the linebacking core is probably an area where it could be taken advantage of. Amani Hooker and Kevin Byard, love them both to death. Both very talented players. I think that they definitely could end up being something pretty special as a secondary right there, because you have Christian Fulton, Sean Murphy-Button, Roger McCreary. I don't really see a weakness in that corner core. I don't really know if I would say there's a huge strength there. Like, I don't really think, besides Kevin Byard, that there's somebody who is absolutely unbelievable. But Kevin Byard, the reason I didn't put him as part of the best unit or position is because of the fact that he potentially wants out. So we'll see what happens there. I do think Caleb Farley is someone that I need to mention. He's a former first-round pick, just couldn't really stay healthy, and I think he could end up stepping in. It's LCB, not CLB. He's behind Christian Fulton at the moment, but I do think that he could end up, especially if he's not starting the whole time, get healthy and then get back in the game. So hopefully that for him. Elijah Molden, one of my favorite players of all time. Roger McCreary was a high second-round pick. Not a huge surprise. They're going to try to find a role for him over Caleb Farley, who was a third. And then you got Tyler Shelvin, who I think actually could end up starting there at nose tackle. Going into the schedule, I think that this team has a pretty damn good shot to make some big moves. I still think they're going to be remaining at the second in their division. They're going to fall one spot in the conference because I have a hard time giving teams really shit records except for like the ones that are really bad. So, i.e. the Raiders. Just going to spoil that right now. I don't like the Raiders. But, I think that you guys certainly are one win away from being able to compete in that conference. But overall, I mean, you guys are really close. I was looking at the teams that didn't make the playoffs, and you guys would still have like the 16th or 17th draft pick. Significant improvement over what happened last year with a team that is necessarily not elite. And let's go game by game here. New Orleans, it's going to be a new regime there with Derek Carr. So I think that they're going to have a little bit of a warm-up issue. Los Angeles, don't really need to explain that too much, do I? Then you have Cleveland there. I would say Los Angeles was a toss-up game because it is in Tennessee. It's going to be pretty damn brutal, but I think LA can handle it. Cleveland, you're at Cleveland. I think they're a very talented team. You guys beat Cincinnati, which, yeah, I think that a lot of people say that's not possible, but you are in Tennessee. It's very difficult, especially with a team. Well, I mean, I know Ohio gets really humid, but Tennessee's just a different beast. It really is. And I think that you guys know how to take advantage of that or that advantage in terms of your environment. Then you have Baltimore, very, very difficult to play against Baltimore. You have that bye week, and then Atlanta, you have them at home. So I think that a dome team going over here would be certainly an issue. Then you also have Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's pretty tough. Me just realizing that the background is the Jaguars, RIP to that, but that's okay. No one really cares. You got Tampa Bay. You're going down to Florida. It's gonna be tough. That's a good battle right there. I think Tampa Bay has some good pieces for sure. You have Jacksonville as well that you're going to, and Jacksonville's a loaded roster, so we'll get to them probably tomorrow. Then you got Carolina and Indy. I think that when you take them on at home, that home field advantage is something that I really lean towards. Miami's a beast, and they're at home, so very tough to go against them. Houston, you have them at home as well. So I'm going to have you guys split with them because they actually have a pretty talented roster. Again, another team we'll talk about this week. And then we have Seattle, which I just think they're really, really good. They're looking incredible this year. And then ending off versus Jacksonville. In the AFC, it's going to be tough, so I don't think they're going to be resting their starters week 18. So I think that will end up leading. Actually, I do believe that you guys can pick up a win right there, regardless, because you are, again, in Tennessee, and then you guys also probably gonna, team split in this league all the time. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the far side. Peace.